Hi crafters, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and I have a couple quick batch plaid cards to share with you today. Now I'm going to show you this stamp that I somewhat recently acquired. It's called the Plaid Builder. It's from Simon Hurley and it's a peel apart, so you can really kind of switch it up and customize your look, but I'm going to keep it simple for these two cards today. Here's a photo of the direction that we're going. You can see they're pretty simple. They don't take a lot of effort, and this would be a really fun thing to kind of batch to, whether you donate or just to build up your crafty stash. But I'm going to load this up in my Misty. I am removing the foam base because this is a cling rubber stamp, so it is a little bit thicker, and you can see when I'm taking it out, it's kind of intended to be split up and kind of customized. But for this video, I'm just going to keep it simple and leave the stamp whole, and then just basically rotate the paper to create the plaid. So this is just one of many different ways that you can use the stamp, but I just wanted to keep it simple because this was my maiden voyage and I just wanted to play with it and see how it did. So I have this cling sheet that I got from scrapbook.com, and that's going to allow me to take my card panel away from the edge so I can really center it kind of within the area of the stamp, but I don't have to worry about it going over the edge of the stamp and not stamping the full card front. So I'm going to grab a couple colors. I have ginger and I can't remember what the second color is, but they're both part of the Apothecary mini ink pad set that I just got from Catherine Pooler. You guys probably know I collect the minis, so even though the Apothecary line has been out for a while, I wait until the minis come out because that's what I prefer to collect, and it takes up less room in my craft room. So I get those and I get the re-inkers, and then that works great for me. So I'm using my press tool from Tailored Expressions. You can see I didn't get the greatest impression, so I'm going to come in a second time. That's the beauty of the Misty, is you can stamp it as many times as you need to. But here you'll see I kind of shifted it and didn't mean to. So what I should have done here, just because there is a little bit of wiggle room for that plastic sheet that's holding my card panel down, I should have used a magnet just to really hold that in place. So you will see I do that for the next go round, just to make sure it doesn't shift on me. But ultimately, with it being a plaid, thankfully it's a little bit forgiving. So now I just rotated the paper horizontally, and that's how I'm going to create this cool plaid look. Now I'm coming in with a darker color, and like I said, using the magnet to make sure that that stick sheet doesn't shift on me, and I'm just putting ink just where I think the panel is going to be, just so I don't waste extra ink and get more ink all over the little cling sheet. So I'm just going to press this down, and I think I come in at one more time just to make sure I get nice even coverage. But if it's a little bit distressed looking, that's okay. It kind of works well with the plaid look. It kind of looks like a worn plaid. Now this is fun. Obviously you're kind of creating your own pattern paper. This is great for masculine cards or cards that are good for anyone. You can obviously switch up the color and create it however you want. So I love plaid. This would be really cool. You could die cut like a big standalone die from it. You could use it like pattern paper, use it for your background. You could do so many fun things with this. So this panel, I'm going to just cut it down. I have these LDRS stitched edge rectangle dies, and I do decide to go with the biggest one, which is exactly A2 size. So US A2 is 4¼ inches by 5½, and it's a little bit tricky because you got to line it up just right. Obviously, if you were working with a bigger piece of paper, you wouldn't have to kind of fiddle with it like this, but it's not a big deal. I'm just going to use some mint tape just to really hold it where I want, and then that way I can keep it the full card front size, but still get that cool detail here that you can see just if you look closely. It's a lot more evident in person, but I did stamp another one off screen with purple and yellow, and I cut that one slightly smaller than A2 size, and I wanted to switch it up even further and show you a different fun way to add another design element to your card. So here I have an Altenew 3D embossing folder. You guys know I'm obsessed with these. This is Shattered Cubes 3D, and this almost gave it like a little bit of a, I don't know, like a southwestern look, I guess, when it was combined with the plaid. But that's just another fun way to add some texture and design elements to your card that doesn't take a lot of time. So I attached those to two card bases. I am currently using 120 pound accent opaque. I was able to get my hands on some from Amazon. If it's available, I'll link it below. But now I'm just going to shop my sentiment book and figure out how to finish these cards. So I don't really have a plan in mind. I'm just kind of figuring out which ones are going to look good with the colors that I chose. These aren't typically colors that I would necessarily gravitate towards. The purple and the yellow is a little bit tricky. As you can see, that would have looked good with that kind of muted gold. But I'm just kind of pulling out different options. This is my storage solution. I have one of these for my die cut standalone dies. I have one for my strips, which are like strips sort of sentiments. And then I also have one for my critters. So little, cutie critters that are stamped and colored and ready to go. I have a binder for them as well. So this is a way that I'm able to really batch cards and save some time. So at this point, I realized what I want to do here. I really wasn't sure color-wise, but this deep purpley blue worked really well with the color that I stamped on that one plaid card. So here I'm thinking like, white, I can really customize that. I can either leave it white or I can use my ink pad and make it yellow. So here is where I realized that this thanks didn't cut all the way through. So you'll see when I use my little pokey tool to try and poke out the little innards from the A, it doesn't work. So I end up having to bin that one and grab a different die. But here I'm looking aimlessly for my pokey tool on my desk, and there it is. And then this is where I realized that it didn't die cut all the way through. So every once in a while that will happen. You can always use a metal shim. I don't typically need it for this die set. This is an all-to-new die, and it normally cuts really well. I was probably just trying to do too much at once and didn't realize that it didn't die cut. So this is where I'm like, I'm just mangling it. So whatever, that's going in the garbage. So I saved the background piece, but then I went back in and grabbed a Hugs, and this one did die cut all the way through. And then here's where I'm kind of holding it up and thinking like, oh, the white looks really good, but the yellow might look good too. So I was kind of struggling deciding which way to go, but then I came up with this fun idea. So I'm going to just do ink on half of it. So I'm going to press it right down into this ink pad, but I'm lining it up so only half of the word gets the color. And I'm using my pokey tool to just kind of gently press that in, and this worked out surprisingly well. But how fun is that? So it does dry back a little bit, but you can see I'm able to match the yellow perfectly, and then still have the white. I put it on the shadow layer, popped it up with a little bit of dimension, and then on this one I just did the Celebrate die cut from Catherine Pooler with some little gold blingage, and that's going to finish the card. So super easy. Like I said, there's so many other ways you can use this stamp. I'm excited to try and create different cards with it, but I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the thumbs up, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.